There's a Roddy crowd here tonight, I see.
I don't even know when Bump was.
Rowdy.
I said there's a Roddy crowd here tonight.
His daughter's the same age as me. So must have been here.
Well, they're asking that
Okay,
question.
I'd like to call this meeting of Monday, February 3rd, 23rd to order. Please rise for reflection and pledge of allegiance. We gather together to make decisions for our community. May we use only our best skills and judgment, keeping our minds and hearts impartial. Let us always act in accordance with what is best for our community and our fellow citizens. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please. Here.
Here.
Present. Paul Coffey is absent. Jeremy Hunt.
Here.
William Theobald.
Here.
Donald Baumgarten.
Here.
Eileen O'Malley.
Here.
Michael Foot.
Here.
Dennis Palando.
Here.
Ken Strufer. Paul Zickmeyer. Jason Stanton.
Thank you. Executive session was held this evening at 6 p.m. for the purpose of collecting information or educating agency members about an issue.
It is
Are there any revisions or additions to the agenda? No. This is the public comment section for agenda items. If anybody would like to address council on agenda items, no. We're going to recess for the public hearing for ordinance number 945. It's an ordinance for providing for and regulating short-term rentals in residential and commercial districts in the borough.
Madam President, this is the time set for a hearing on an ordinance that has been advertised for hearing tonight. It is an ordinance that regulates short-term rentals such as an Airbnb in the borough. It would be appropriate to open the public hearing, have any comments from the public anyone who might want to comment on it. This would be the appropriate time to do that. At the end of the public portion, at the end of the hearing, council can take a vote, or they can choose not to vote at this time based on what they hear as to whether or not to pass the ordinance. So it'd be appropriate to ask anyone in the public if there were any comments related to the.
Do you have any comments? Council, I think, has a few questions. I don't know.
I have a few questions. So Paul, I read the ordinance over. Thank you for putting that together. Couple of questions regarding sections throughout it. So one section specifically mentions that the rentals are required to have one dedicated off-street parking spot per bedroom allotted. Is there any concerns? You know, I know that there's a number of residents in the borough that either don't have driveways or they have, maybe one or two parking, one or two car driveway, but it's a 3-bedroom house. I think looking at, and I think I understand why that was probably put in there. But at the same point, I don't necessarily think we're going to have a lot of problems of a 3-bedroom house having 3 or 4 cars show up to a 3-bedroom house to rent it for, short term. But are there any concerns about that possibly being the permit display? So within the ordinance, there's a section that says
You're going to let them address one at a time.
Yeah, you can.
I'm sure there probably would run into a concern about it, but then on the same token, I'm trying to keep it from having any issues. There's a lot of issues that could happen now over that. I'm hoping in most aspects of whoever's renting it, they're a family for, one car.
Yeah.
Oh, so Home Avenue, the bottom of Home Avenue. There's not one house down there that has, maybe 2 houses, I'm sorry, have off-street. But I'm sure they got more than 1 bedroom. They're eliminated then, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Even though there's designated on-street parking for that area.
Yeah,
So they would be eliminated.
correct.
So they would be what? Eliminated.
You wouldn't be able to
Be allowed to rent it.
Maybe we should rethink that to say at least one off-street parking or 2 off-street.
These are just questions. Paul, that's all.
I know. I prefer not to, but that's up to you guys,
It,
you know.
and I think, you know, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, but where I kind of go, like the flip side, trying to look at both sides, where I go to the opposite end is obviously we don't want to be renting houses out and then having 6 cars show up because they're throwing a block party within one house. And now we've got overpopulation and we've got noise ordinances and, you know, it just turns into an ugly mess. So I'm trying to look at both sides of the issue. But the main issue that I kind of bring up, like to Kevin's point, I think we have a lot of houses and residents inside the borough that don't have any off-street parking, or that the situation where they only have maybe one spot, and they wouldn't qualify under this. Another section of the ordinance simply states that the permit must be displayed. So I'm assuming that's internal, not external.
Correct.
Okay. We're good there. Another section of the ordinance says that the homeowners must obtain and retain a driver's license, a photo driver's license of the renters. Is there a reason why we're kind of requiring that aspect? I think there might be some identity issue problems down the road. And then, you know, just a simple fact of what do these homeowners do with it at the end of the year? Are they throwing it away and now pictures of driver's licenses are out there? And
That part of it I never looked into as far as what the end of the year or
Okay.
whatever. I'm just more concerned that the right person's in that house and also never. I mean, typically, even a lot of communities, they ask for a driver's license just to get a building permit. We don't do that, but
yeah,
I think it's something that's kind of serious, probably for me and the police department.
yeah. And the other reason why I bring this up is just, you know, I've rented many beach houses over the years, and I never once have to provide a photo ID when I rent a beach house. And I'm renting $1 million beach house on VVRO or Airbnb or
I
whatever.
rented one too. Yeah.
And I never have to give my drive. I have to give my contact information. Now, what prevents someone from giving fraudulent contact information? That's, you know, another matter. But and then my final concern was, I think it's in there that the rental units are subject to a 6-month inspection. Obviously, that's a safety inspection. My only concern is, are we potentially setting ourselves up to fail? Do we have the manpower and the ability to do these inspections every 6 months? Or is it going to be, we're putting it on paper that it's every 6 months, but then it turns out to be, I mean, obviously these permits have to be renewed every year. So we do have the ability to do it annually. Are we kind of setting ourselves up to fail by saying 6 months, or should we just kind of default to that year mark unless there's issues or, you know, complaints or something like that going on?
I could, I feel we could do it in the 6-month increments. I see some of these apartment buildings just on the rental end of it that you get trashed pretty quick. And you know, I hate to leave it go more than 6 months.
Okay, that's all I
I
have.
mean, our ordinance right now is anytime there's a change in occupants, I got to go in there, and I've done as short as 3 weeks. And you wouldn't believe what happened in 3 weeks.
That's all I have, Madam President.
And Chief, could you weigh in on the keeping a copy of somebody's passport or driver's license, or, you know, a copy of that for a year, or even giving someone that information?
You could make suggestions to, if we're going to make it part of the ordinance, to the property owner that they do their diligence insofar as destroying it, shredding it, you know, give them all the caveats about possible identity theft, et cetera. I understand the concern, but I also understand, I get the idea of why we would want that information so that we know who's there. Bad things happen in these properties. And we're just trying to, I think what the codes official is trying to do is head off, and put as many restrictions and or controls in as possible so that these bad things don't happen. I mean, I gave you the example, the big one is on the north side, Easter, a couple of years ago, they had a mass shooting. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that they get out of control. So you want controls on the process. Right now, we don't have any. So I'd say start heavy, and if you have issues, address them. But I don't see any issue with that. Again, if it's a concern that you think there should be identity theft or that somebody's personal information is out there, well, maybe you put caveats in there. When you hand out the permit, you tell people how to handle that type of information.
Again, this is just rentals,
Yeah, short term.
These are short-term rentals.
short term. Like in my building, there's 45 units and 12 of them are rentals,
So less than 30 days.
less than 30 days. Okay.
Less than 30, yeah.
Okay.
One thing we're looking at in the borough right now too is there's a lot of hot sales. And I'm seeing more and more of them turning into rentals. It's just scary.
Yeah, but they're not short-term. They're not.
No, well, some are and some aren't. You never know what it's gonna be. You know, they tell me they're just gonna flip it and then they end up renting it and it just, you don't know until it actually happens.
Anybody feel like we might want to put this off?
Yeah, I
And-
think I'd like to do a little more research and maybe, I mean, I rent I have a cottage that I rent at Conneaut Lake. And, they just initiated an inspection 2 years ago process, but nothing like what's here. I mean, I don't have to have that. I did get their names and addresses and contact information, you know, the people that rent, and then, you know, I don't ask to see their driver's license or passports or anything. I think that's pretty intrusive. I would personally
Is there
think
any
so, but
communities around us that does this?
I was gonna say, I've been working on this for the last 3 years.
yeah,
And actually, at the beginning, there was a lot of errors on other communities. And the years went on, they got corrected and we've been following it all along. Planning Commission reviewed it at least 3 or 4 times. And this is what I came up with. Actually, in a lot of things we do, they say we're pretty low minimum
okay.
compared to a lot of our things we do in the borough.
Is there like an Airbnb handbook for dummies? I mean, is there something out there? You know what I mean?
I just go by what the other communities do and
I mean, there's no set of standards out there that people look at to.
not that I'm aware of.
You said this started with codes and then it went to planning and now planning okayed it, so it's coming here.
Yeah, planning did a lot of changes in it, a lot, you know, in the past 3 years. And then we thought we had it solved, and at the end, they changed some more.
So they just approved it recently.
Yes, about 2 months ago.
It also went to the county. It started out as an amendment to the zoning. Zoning ordinance amendments have to go to the county zoning planning department to review before you act on it. It was sent to them to review. Their recommendation was, yeah, this looks like what other communities do, but it doesn't have to be a zoning ordinance. It could be a separate standalone ordinance. So that's the latest, is it's a separate standalone ordinance, not part of the zoning ordinance. But that's another set of eyes with the county planning department taking a look at it. And no recommendations other than
Yeah, zoning.
whether it needed to be in the part of the zoning ordinance or not.
You know, nobody's renting out, right? We don't have any of them in the borough now, do we?
Yeah,
Maybe we do.
There's a lot of them. Yeah, there's one right up the street from me. Yeah.
and I think you're.
Short term?
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
And I have no control over them right now.
Did you know Bonnie Williams, the old Williams? That's the Williams house. Yeah, that's a Airbnb.
Over behind Lebanon Shops.
Well, first we thought we may want to push this off a little bit.
But-
The more I hear about it, if
Yeah.
it's 30 short-term rental, why don't would anybody have a problem with adopting it? And if we have to make changes, then we make changes.
We can fine tune it if we
I
have.
don't know.
What's the consensus?
How do you say there's
Jeremy,
something in here? I
have your
think we should-
questions been answered? Do you feel comfortable with,
My questions have been answered. I don't know if I necessarily feel comfortable with them. I feel comfortable with most of them. I think one of my big sticking points is still the parking regulation. You know, potentially alienating, and I don't know off the top of my head what percentage of, borough residents don't have off-street parking or have the necessary off-street parking per the code, knowing that, just because it's a 3 or 4 bedroom house doesn't mean 3 or 4 cars are going to show up for that rental. You're going to get 1 or 2. When we go to the beach, there's 6 to 8 of us in a house and there's 2 cars.
Yeah.
So I think that's that would probably be my main sticking point at this point, is just the alienating of certain residents within the borough, that because you don't have a driveway or because you don't have 3 spots, you got 2 spots, but you don't have 3 spots. Now you can't rent your house out on a short-term basis if someone wants to, is troubling or concerning to me.
Would you be comfortable with it saying the short-term rental must have a minimum of 2 off-street parking spaces for rental property, per property, rather than per bedroom?
I don't know if that necessarily solves it, just because, like I said, with Kevin's example of home, Poplar, there's a lot of residents on Poplar that don't have driveways.
Yeah.
Arch, there's a lot of, I think there's some on Arch that don't have driveways.
Paul can answer. Weigh in.
Most of them have driveways at least.
I'm concerned like Baldwin Street, you're saying Poplar. Is it fair to the residents? They take their parking spaces. That's all.
And Paul, I certainly understand both sides. And like I said, with the party, I get the party aspect of it. I don't want to see these houses turned into party houses where someone's renting it for a weekend, for whatever reason. And next thing you know, there's 13 cars taking up all the off-street parking and parking illegally and parking in neighbors' driveways because they want to have a keg on the weekend. I don't know if that's going to be, I don't know if I agree that that's going to be the norm. I think, can that happen? Absolutely, it can happen. We've already seen it happen in the city of Pittsburgh at least once. But I don't necessarily know if that's going to be the norm. I think, generally speaking, it's going to be people who, are in town for the draft or are in town because there's a convention downtown and all the other hotels downtown are sold out, or it's cheaper to rent a house than it is a downtown hotel, whatever. That's my concern.
So, Paul, supposedly know, like you might not know somebody's doing short-term rentals, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a possibility, but the ones that you know,
They have driveways
they have driveways.
or parking spaces. Yeah.
Okay.
We give permits out to them, temporary permits. Do we have anywhere in Castle Shan where they can park? Like when I go on a beach, like East Starbucks, got too many cars, you can park in a lot.
That would be up to, I guess,
It's
our
cheap.
chief.
Well, I don't know if we have any enough spots.
Like a parking permit. Street.
No, not on the street. Do we have anywhere in Shan that we can rent, be part of their parking? I don't know if you work with the fire hall, or just for the short term.
I don't know.
They're going to pay at the firehouse.
Well,
City parking lot.
if they want more, then they'd have to pay a couple extra.
Well, if they don't have any, I think that's the biggest
Well-
problem. But Chief, let's take Poplar Street. So if there's a residence on Poplar that doesn't have a driveway, do they have to obtain a permit to park on Poplar?
Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, we wouldn't know who's allowed to park and who's not.
Yeah.
But you don't have that for Home Avenue though, do you?
I believe they also have, those because there are some streets that are exempt from overnight parking restrictions. Home Avenue is probably one of them. Vermont Greenridge, those are probably a couple other ones. Baldwin Street probably exempt from overnight parking.
Main Street.
There's so many parking permits on Baldwin. There's a zone parking, there's residential parking. I mean, it's.
It's in their spots that say no parking at 2 a.m.
Well, that's.
I don't disagree with the premise here, making sure they have parking. How are you gonna rent a property?
Long
And there should be that parking.
overnight.
And we don't want 50 people showing up. So I kind of agree with the premise that have closed, but that's just my position.
First Street, my God, when it really gets narrow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. You couldn't.
Oh, just one other question, please. What are you using to determine what a bedroom is?
I go through the property maintenance. It describes the size of a room. Single room, 75 square feet, and a double was 150.
So if somebody works out of their house and uses what you're determining as a bedroom as an office, is that counted as a bedroom or is it counted as an office? When it comes down to parking?
I just count them as a bedroom or, it's their house.
Well, I'm
Are
just
you
wondering-
talking about it for Airbnb?
For the Airbnbs, yeah. If somebody has an office in their house and they've used that presumed bedroom as an office for 15, 20 years, is it still counted against the bedroom requirement and the parking
Well,
requirement?
I would imagine for Airbnb, in the short term, they're not using offices.
Office anymore.
No, I'm just saying if it's currently an office, it's a 4-bedroom house. But one of the bedrooms they've converted to an office and they work out of their house now.
Yeah,
Is that for selling purposes, you want to sell it as a 4-bedroom?
right.
But for this parking issue, you'd want it to be a 3-bedroom.
That's your max. You'd have to-
Or if you advertising your Airbnb, you've got to advertise how many bedrooms you're providing.
Right.
When you're advertising for your vacation by owner rental or you're advertising for your Airbnb, you're advertising how many bedrooms you have.
Right, but
And
he's
I'm
saying,
trying
But
but
what rooms, how many rooms are equipped for bedrooms for the object of renting? Like I rent, I have 4 bedrooms, so I say I rent 4 bedrooms.
I just rented one bed. Myself had 6 bedrooms and we had 5 cars, but we all had a place to park. It was a double car driveway and 3 of us blocked the other 2 cars in, so.
Yeah.
But it was off street and it was on their property.
We're maxing it 4 no matter what. Is that correct? Somebody offers a 5-bedroom, they get 5 parking spots. Are we maxing it 4?
No, however many bedrooms.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, so,
Maybe
I
we
mean,
should-
I don't know if there are
we
any
should put it back.
5-bedroom houses in Council.
I think my more theory on it is you
Yeah, game.
don't want parties. If somebody's gonna rent it, then it's a family thing or we're not one of those communities I feel don't want to have parties. Those kind anyways.
If we let them in.
Well, I know that the house up on Pine that is an Airbnb, they will not rent local. They only rent to out-of-towners. So they
Right.
cover the idea of somebody renting it to have a party.
A lot of these short-term companies do screen them.
Yeah.
So they do, they're doing a lot more screening now than they used
I
to.
agree.
Well, I could suggest that we let it go through and then if people protest and request a variance, then we can offer you that option to give them a variance. If they provide the sufficient, how does that sound? Can we
You got a
put,
question back here.
yeah, okay.
But as far as the parking, as been stated several times, some of the streets are limited, but some of these people already have 2 cars, so why can't you it's gonna be a rental property, issue 2 parking permits that are one, that's a rental property, and that's all they're gonna get is 2 on-street parking permits for that property, and if they have any off-street parking, that would contribute as well. Dormont's a good case. So the Dormont, you have to have a permit on the street, Dormont.
We don't have that here.
Not every street. 'Cause, yeah, my daughter lived on Broadway.
So why not just issue 2 parking permits for rental property if the off-street parking is not available and that's all they're gonna get, if they have to park on the street? Because if you have a house right now and there's a husband and wife and they both work, both can have vehicles that are gonna be taking up 2 spots on the street anyways.
Or I'm thinking just let it go and see what kind of feedback we get. If we have enough people that are protesting.
Another option, which I have with garbage cans too, is they're permitted to put a parking pad in. I realize you got hillsides and that, but they could still do it.
I got a parking pad.
Yeah, exactly. You have one, but I have it with garbage cans on Belleville. They're all in the street, it's.
Well, where I live, it's a different story than down at Bottomdale. They don't have any parking down there.
Right.
Some of them might park in
In the back.
well, that road's collapsing back there anyway, so.
I mean,
There's
that
a
was
couple,
just another.
there's a couple houses that have driveways, but not many.
Well, what's the consensus here? Do we want to talk about this some more and put it
I
up
wouldn't
at the
get
next
it off the
meeting?
table. Yeah, I'd like to
Just
get this
move
off our
forward.
table.
Okay, so, well,
You need a motion from somebody to adopt it in a second and then take it.
I'll make that motion.
We're going to close the public hearing first.
Okay, let's just, yeah, it'd be appropriate to indicate for the record that you had the public hearing, received public comments, close the public hearing.
Okay, well, we have to make a motion to
No,
close the public
no.
hearing. Okay, the public hearing is now closed, so I need the motion made by Kevin,
I'll make that motion.
seconded by Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
We have 2 opposed and 4 ayes, so I guess the motion carries. Thank you.
Probably should have for the record who voted.
Do you roll call, Wilson?
I can't.
What's that?
Do you want to do roll call vote then?
Here, do you want to, we'll do a roll call.
She can do it.
Roll call vote then, in favor or against for ordinance 945, Kevin,
Aye, in favor.
Jeremy,
Nay.
Nay.
Aye.
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 Thank you. We'll now return to the business meeting.
And I would suggest that you have the code official collect the complaints or the issues that come up and bring it back to council. And if there are things, there are ways, I think, there's some language you could, with the parking, for example, that you could back and modify that once you know what the issues are. Right now, you don't know what the issues really are.
Yeah, there's always room for, like you say, modification, or if we, if there's enough complaints or that's not working. Okay. We have the approval for the minutes of the February 9th, 2026 Borough Council meeting. If there are no corrections or additions, I need a motion to accept those minutes.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Administration?
Madam President, for council consideration, staff is requesting authorization to make HRA payments to employees who are currently have out-of-pocket medical expenses which have not been resolved by the borough's vendor, HRA management vendor.
Does anybody have any questions for the manager?
I just want to comment that this is, we're obligated by the CBA to fulfill this. So just wanted that to be kind of put on the record.
So I need a motion to authorize the borough manager to make reimbursement payments totaling $4,322.81 to employees who currently have out-of-pocket medical expenses which have not been resolved by the borough's HRA management vendor.
Make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We have a motion to move to authorize the borough manager to make a conditional offer to Rochelle Swan. Is that how you pronounce it? For the position of part-time assistant page, pending fulfillment of all pre-employment screening requirements and required child clearances with a compensation rate of $10 per hour. Have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Bid awards and contracts. We have an installation of a shower and water fountain at Upper Hamilton. This is for the splash pad. It's required by the Pennsylvania Department of Health to be able to get our splash pad permit. So we have a motion to authorize the borough manager to procure plumbing services from Pollock Plumbing, LLC, including appurtenances, shower, water fountain, and installation for a total cost of $15,000.
I'll make the motion.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We also have a motion to authorize the borough manager to procure the services of a contractor to install a concrete sidewalk and shower area, install Versalock block wall, regrading of the site, and installation of an awning for not to exceed price of $12,000.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And these are all conditions for get our permit for the splash pad. So thank you all. Summer's coming, summer's coming.
I have one question. Is this bond money that's paying for this? Is coming out of the park bond?
This will be coming out of the park funding, yes, the capital improvement fund.
All that also doing that?
Pardon?
Doing that. All that too?
Madam President, the plumbing part has been, we have gotten the quote from Pollock. In terms of the other contractor, that would be as yet determined. We have not
Okay,
determined the
okay.
contractor as of yet.
Question on that. Are we paying sewage on that? Water? for the
Yeah.
Shower, we are.
As
But
far
we're
as
not
I
paying
know.
it on, we're not paying sewage on a splash pad, are we?
Oh, yeah.
Because that water's being recycled through that. We are paying sewage on that as
Right.
well?
It's recycled. No, if we had not recycled, we would have paid sewage. That was part of the,
Right.
So-
So we're paying sewage on the shower. and
We would,
We would be
Madam
paying.
President, we would be paying.
Dave, I think we got to pay sewage on whatever originally comes into the splash pad. We're gonna, no?
No, I don't think.
it's paid by the water, by the amount of water we
Yeah.
use. So when we fill the splash pad, that, they don't
You're paying for
regulate
the
the
water.
drainage.
Paying for the water, but you're not paying for the sewage.
Well, that comes from the sewage. That's how we pay for sewage. How much water we use. That's how the sewage is taxed, because you can't, we don't have like a meter on our sewer at our houses. It comes from the volume of water. Am I understanding this right, Mr. Engineer?
Yeah, to Dave's point, when we're in operation in terms of the splash pad, that water's clean, disinfected and recycled.
Right.
But we still pay water fee and sewage for the initial draw, if you will, but we're not continuously discharging.
And any replenishment, right? I mean,
Correct.
so it's minimal,
Replenishment,
Dave, but it's still there.
10,000
And to your point, this fountain and shower would be next to the restrooms up at Upper Hamilton Park. And so that water would not be recycled through the splash pad. In part of the Pollock plumbing scope would be to take, some of the water lines through the wall of the restroom, bring it out so there's an outdoor shower and a water fountain that would drain to Lower Hamilton to the sewer.
Where's the rainwater go, Jason?
The rainwater just rolls essentially off from the roof to the hillside. It's pretty small.
Rainwater on the splash pad. Isn't there a drain up there?
Yes, there is a drain on the splash pad that currently right now with the snow and the snow melt,
Yeah.
it's being diverted to the storm sewer. When we're in operation and we're utilizing water and circulating water, that water is not going to the storm sewer. Once we drain the splash pad, it would go to the sanitary sewer down towards 88.
So one more question about the shower. Like, we've been talking about the beach a lot. When you go to the beach and you're walking off the sand, you go to the showers at the end of the walkway and you push a button and the shower comes on. You don't have to turn it off. It goes off. Are we going to have that kind of a shower so that somebody just doesn't go turn it on and leaves it run and it's just going to run constant?
Perfect example. It's kind of like the showers at the beach where you hit the button and you shower off. And I tend to do the doggy dry and you move on. And if it shuts off before you're done showering, you hit the button again and just shower off. Yeah. And it's part of the Department of Health permit associated with the state permit. There's two permits, local county health and the state. And the state's requiring the fountain and the shower, and both amenities will be ADA compliant.
I suppose technically they're rinsing off the chlorine and the chemicals that they're in the splash pad.
Yes.
Jason, is it like a hot, cold shower or is it straight cold water?
Pretty much, I think it's a cold shower.
Giddy up.
It's a quick shower.
They don't have any problem with the distance, right?
I think we talked where they'll be connected to the water heater. so that there will be some warm,
So maybe
Okay.
warm water.
but I think it's a percentage. I don't think it's 100% hot.
Yeah, yeah.
It's still gonna be a quick shower.
It's not gonna be cool versus hot or cold.
I have a question. To Dave's point, when you own a pool, you can contact the water company,
No, you can't.
but you have to jump through 1,000 hoops to know exactly how much water you're putting in your pool, and they won't do it. But I don't know if it's worth checking out, but.
When I filled my pool, I called the water company and they said they don't do it anymore.
Oh, really?
You have to pay for
Okay.
sewage on every refill. The only way to get around the sewage on a pool fill would be to hire an outside company to come in and
Fill it up.
fill your
water.
pool. Yeah, fill your
You
pool
can
for
fix the
you.
water.
Thanks.
Okay, okay, Vicky, could you tell me where we are in this? Did we make this motion or pass this
We
motion?
made the motion.
We're on catch.
Okay, then we're done with that.
Both motions are complete,
Okay.
the shower and the concrete work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then we need to repair the catch basin inlets located at Canal Street using funds from the capital fund budgeted at $50,000. Cost to repair catch basins on time and material basis is estimated to be $23,200, which is less than the Pennsylvania state bid threshold of $24,500. So we have a motion.
Before we go into the motion, please. We talked about this before the meeting. We had talked about this before the meeting. And it says here the budget, first off, it says inlets. On Canal Street, I'm hearing there's one inlet. So we're not doing inlets, we're doing inlet, one.
There's, I think, three in this, there's one on Canal Street. But the last discussion that Bob Osmond and Michael and I had, that there's three inlets that are priority. One on Canal, and then I believe there were two other ones.
Right, but this is just for Canal.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
And I think it's one catch basin with two inlets. I don't know the technical side of that. Is that correct, that you can have multiple inlets into a catch basin?
Yeah, sometimes stormwater inlets and catch basins are used interchangeably, but I think that one has, the one on Canal Street has a double box. It's a big box.
All right, so my question is, if we have budgeted 50,000 and there's two others, why are we only going to fix the one on Canal instead of the other two? I mean, have they been priced and it's going to be over the 50,000 budget, or?
No, I'll let you.
In the fall, there were several inlets that Bob wanted to get pricing on. I think there were a total of 9 or so. And we met with Bob and prioritized them and got RFPs for all 9 inlets individually. And if there's an economy of scale, if we're doing all 9 inlets together, is there economy of scale? That exceeded, in terms of that scope of work, that exceeded the bidding threshold. Thought process, and the proposals were high. They were. After looking at them and discussing them, the main one that Public Works would like to get fixed first would be the one on Canal Street. So that's why we're recommending moving forward with that. And then depending on where it may be less than 23.2. And so if it's less than 23.2, we would come back to council, to authorize the other inlets, at a later date. But this was the one out of the gate that we wanted to get fixed first.
Okay.
And the other ones, defer the other ones to see how much budget we're left after this one.
Getcha.
And
Okay.
if I may just add, and thanks for going first, Jason, it sometimes gives me a chance to get my thoughts in line. Knowing that we have a budget of 50,000, this one project is taking roughly 50% of that. And so staff felt that let's wait, because we may have emergency repairs, much like we discussed earlier. over on Myrtle, where we're going to have to repair that with those funds as well. So
There's one on Myrtle.
Okey doke, thank you.
Okay, if there are no more questions, I need a motion to authorize the borough manager to contract services with Solai Construction Incorporated to repair one catch basin on a time and materials basis for a cost not to exceed $23,200.
Make that motion.
Second,
I'll
Go ahead.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. We have resolution, all these resolutions now, and I'll defer to the borough manager if you just want to explain. We had a question at last month's meeting about how we dispose of our efforts. And
well, Madam President, yes, there was a comment made at the last meeting, and it just had to do with how the borough disposed of records and for records that might be requested during that disposal process. I worked with the borough solicitor to look at language of the, and I keep losing the state.
Municipal records.
The municipal manager, municipal records manual. Sorry, there, I got it out. And so in researching that and also identifying a resolution that Borough Council passed in 1989, all of the language that had been recommended is actually incorporated in all of those documents. So the solicitor and myself felt that we could bring this back to council, knowing that all the language is there.
okay, are there any questions? The resolution number 787, authorizing the disposition of certain records of the borough in accordance with the disposition schedule of the Pennsylvania Municipal Records Manual in Borough Resolution number 301. Records from administration, police department, and library will participate in the annual document destruction process. I need a motion to adopt resolution number 787, authorizing the disposition of certain records of the borough in accordance with the disposition schedule of the Pennsylvania Municipal Records Manual.
I make that motion.
Do we have a second? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Resolution number 788, authorizing the disposition of certain records of the borough's elected tax collector in accordance with the disposition schedule of the Municipal Records Manual approved on December 16th, 2008, as amended, and Borough Resolution number 301 adopted May 22nd, 1989. I need a motion to adopt Resolution 788, authorizing the disposition of certain records of the borough's elected tax collector in accordance with the disposition schedule of the Municipal Records Manual.
I'll make the motion.
Get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Resolution number 789, authorizing borough participation in Allegheny County's community development and housing assistant activities through the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, and Home Investment Partnership Programs. Any questions? I need a motion to adopt resolution number 789, authorizing the borough participation in Allegheny County's community development and housing assistant activities through the Community Development Block Grant and Home Investment Partnership Programs.
Make that motion.
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We have wayfinding phase 3, which is the completion of a grant-funded project by installing signs at municipal parks and on municipal and state PennDOT roads. This project also includes installing new street name signs throughout the borough. Remaining grant funds in the amount of $167,670 combined with lawn funds in the amount of approximately $13,000 will be used to fund the project.
That was phase 2, not 3.
Oh, I'm sorry, wayfinding phase 2.
Madam President, if we could just pause real quickly. I have a PowerPoint presentation that the borough engineer had prepared, and I can cue that up, and he can give council a quick brief on this particular expenditure.
That's the only two that don't.
Do we need to turn the lights down or are we good?
Yeah,
They turn the lights on. That's too dark.
it's working.
That's too dark.
I can't see it.
All right, Vicky, let's see if technology is going to work for us tonight.
That Home Avenue over there? What's that? It's
Isn't
Sixth
that
Street.
Hamilton Road?
It's Sixth Street.
6th Street.
We'll go figure that the mouse is not.
You can make that.
Wait a minute, there it is. All right.
Be a catch basin.
Say that much.
That's what's going on.
Moving on there, Michael.
Let's see here. Let me just try one more thing here.
There we go.
Hey.
We practiced earlier. I'm still getting it, the system down. There we go.
Jump on it, Jason.
All right.
So, phase two of the wayfinding program, met with, the ad hoc committee, and the strategy was to, expend the grant funding, which we received $213,000 from the multimodal fund. Some signs have already been purchased through that, including the Hamilton Park signs that are designated with the red done signs. And what the committee decided in terms of the primary entrance sign, in order to stay within the grant funding budget, is to exclude those from the scope of work. Primarily, what remains are the group B signs. The next slide will identify that. The group C signs, and then the street name signs. So in terms of group A, that was the Hamilton Park signage that was completed last spring. A lot of the signs and things like that
Scared the hell out of me.
that are being discussed tonight fall in line with that sign, the design of that sign, the lettering, the font, et cetera, and size. So in terms of the quotations that the borough has, option A for group B and C would be fabrication and delivery only with breakaway hardware and peripherals. And DPW would install those, much in the same fashion that they installed the Hamilton Park signs last spring. Group B are the signs that would be along the municipal roadways, and two that would be along state roadways that would need PennDOT approval. Those two would be in Hamilton Road. Good example of those would be wayfinding signs that would point people from, outside the borough to turn on Middleborough to get to Hamilton Park. There's also signs on Middleborough
telling the drivers to continue straight on Middleborough.
Or Middleborough goes to the left or goes to the right.
Okay, yes, I apologize. In Group B would be those signs along borough roadways. It would give motorists, steer them towards Hamilton Park and also Real Park. Group C would be primarily those signs along PennDOT roadways. 7 of those would need PennDOT approval. HBMS is an acronym for Highway Beautification Maintenance System. Those would be along Castle Shannon Boulevard. As an example, along Route 88 would be another example. And the reason why we broke those out is that the PennDOT HBMS process does take some time. The Group C would total in round numbers $45,000. And then Group D would be the street name signs. Thinking of the committee would be to go with the Orlite standard green. The top image there with the Castle logo. The cost for those signs, and I believe they're 300 and I forget the number we discussed last week, 329, I believe, is included in that option A. So that's the quotations that are currently out there. The next slide kind of summarizes the grant funding plan, if you will. It's on council's agenda this evening. Currently, we have $167,000 round numbers in remaining funding. Group B would cost a little under $40,000. Group C, $45,000. It gives us about $80,000 left to spend. And the Orlite standard green, tracking the grant funding, would give about $13,000 in local funding that would be from the bond fund. So again, the design pretty much follows exactly the Hamilton Park signs, and the street name signs would have the white Castle logo. So that's the grant funding plan that's on the agenda this evening, and I believe the next slide has the steps. First step would be to.
I don't think so, Jason.
Okay. That's a summary of the grant funding plan that council would be approving this evening. So again, that's a high level based on the committee feedback from several committee meetings that we've had over the last 2 weeks.
We know anything changed in the last week since we met about the funding source drying up sometime in June?
Yeah, the grant spend date is currently the end of June. We're in the process of requesting a 1-year extension. So I would think in the next month we would likely have that extension, and we're going to cite, the permitting requirements associated with PennDOT as the rationale. So I don't think we'll have any objections, but there isn't an update. That's the current spend by date, if you will. But I don't foresee an issue with getting an extension.
Tonight's motion, if it proceeds, we would be okay then to start ordering the signs.
Yes.
The ones that have not been approved by PennDOT.
I would like to order those after PennDOT approves them. So, and if you add the value for the Group B signs, Group C signs, and then the street name signs, that's totals the number that's in the motion this evening. I think this authorization would give our manager the ability to work with signs, once the timing's right relative to the PennDOT permit approvals.
And I had one more thing to anybody who's been coming to meetings for a while, talking that the castle will fit on the signs. Thank you.
And do we have any questions before the
Sure, you have any?
vote?
I have two, actually. So according to the deck that was sent out to us, that's, I guess it's a little bit wider than that. The new signs appear to have the castle logo on it, whereas the existing signs have that not logo on them. So is there a plan in place to refurb the original signs to match the new signs? Are we gonna have two different signs, albeit they look very similar to each other? Is there a plan?
Yeah, the phase one wayfinding does have the Celtic knot on some of those. The phase two wayfinding that's on the agenda tonight does not have the gold knot. We are going to get quotations in terms of retrofitting the existing signs, but that's not included in here at this point. So tonight, what you're approving or authorizing is the manager to order the phase two wayfinding signs, and then once additional information is obtained,
To upgrade the, okay.
yeah, we'll go back to council.
Then my other question is, of all the signage, especially this round, is there a reason the committee chose to advertise a singular business on the signage, a private business, i.e. the Ice Castle? Particularly in locations where the Ice Castle signs are going, you can literally see the Ice Castle in the background. You don't necessarily need an arrow telling you that the Ice Castle is right there whenever you see it. But I have some concern that we're advertising the Ice Castle, and that's the only business in Castle Shannon that we're advertising for. When there's other, I'd rather, if anything, I'd rather see us advertise for like the Lebanon shops in that area to push people towards the entire business district rather than just one company.
I would venture off the top of my head because they draw so many out of town people because of the tournaments and such. That was probably a consideration for that.
Yeah, that was one of the considerations. It's also a regional landmark that, and people are coming from all around. Certainly acknowledge a comment about the one, it being one of the businesses. But I think that was the primary rationale of why that's on there, is because there are a lot of people coming from outside Castle Shannon towards the Ice Castle.
That's all I have, Madam President.
Any other comments? Ben?
Up to you. You can if you want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm curious because you're saying this is going to go on all the street signs with the castle, but this is still showing Celtic knot. What's the new signs like these going to look like with the castle on them versus the Celtic knots?
That was discussed at the most recent meeting. And it was decided to go ahead with those because we've put up so many signs that has that thing at the top. It's not necessarily noticeable as a Celtic knot. Because if you look at
talking
some,
about the design on top or the actual sign?
Well, it's both. There's the design on the top, and then there's also the Celtic knot.
Celtic knot will not be on the sign. The open lattice work on the top will be on it, but the Celtic knot.
Bottom part right here.
The badge will be the
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be the castle logo. Yeah.
Thank you.
It was discussed that it's pretty indistinguishable. You can't really tell what it is. That lattice work at the top, it just looks like, somebody drew on a spirograph.
Gingerbread. So if there's no other questions,
But
then
Jeremy just said, are we gonna replace the other signs that have?
Just
the
logo.
knot on the bottom. The other signs have the knot down here.
Oh, okay,
So we're going to leave the top alone on all of them, but
okay.
I was asking about covering up the bottom knot
Thank
to
you.
match the castle.
Because the street signs are going to have it, the new wayfinders are going to have it, so we should try to make everything,
Okay, then I need a motion to authorize the borough manager to purchase signs comprised of Group B, Group C, and Group D for a total price not to exceed $181,000 from CoStar's vendor, VIS Signs Visual Information Systems.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. Council committee reports, community engagement and events. Oops.
Maybe.
I'm sorry.
Council committee reports.
Yeah, we had a meeting. It went really well. There was a lot of things discussed. And for Community Day, it's moving forward. It's going to be here sooner than any of us expect.
Yeah, yeah. And I think some little birdie told me we were possibly still looking at that laser show again. Maybe tweaking it a little bit, or
Possibly.
is that a possibility, or
Here, you want
I'll just wait and be
So
surprised?
the laser show is still on the table. We're looking into some other options. Unfortunately, other options are much more expensive. The committee still stands. Unfortunately, fireworks are not plausible because of the new field and because of some other factors. So that is off. Drones are out just because of the cost. So we're having some discussions with the laser company. We've reached out to some other companies to see what else is available. We're gonna keep working on it and hopefully have some information here in the next few weeks.
Okay, thank you so much. Finance.
Yes, I received 2 check registers, first dated February 13th and the second dated February 20th. And I'll just mention what I had got cleared up in our pre-meeting, but I just want it on the record. We had 2 line items, both for Solai Construction for snow removal. First one was $20,000 contract services. The second was snow removal for $6,921. That was called winter maintenance, and was brought to my attention that due to the emergency nature of the snowfall, that's why we had to go ahead and hire them, and he will get reimbursed due to the emergency.
Anybody have any questions?
Otherwise, I had nothing else. Vicky.
Okay, then we need a motion to authorize the payment of all outstanding bills and invoices totaling $260,662.98 from the general fund, $11,479.92 from the streetlight fund, $6,856.15 from the sanitary sewer fund, $64,970.56 from the capital fund, $0 from liquid fuels fund, and $17,730.17 from the library fund. We have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. HR and personnel, I don't think we have anything. We did talk about the hiring of the library assistant already, so planning and codes. Nothing.
Nothing other than I asked Jeremy to mention the restaurant last meeting, and they opened that morning and they had to shut it down right away. They had sewage problems, but they're open now.
Is that the restaurant on Grove?
Yeah.
The Peruvian restaurant.
No, not the Grove. It's the one on Grove.
On Grove,
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, she said.
The Peruvian
And
restaurant.
then the Grove's coming on. They put a lot of money in there. It's coming along. They should be getting close. They had to rewire everything. It was a disaster. So they're close to opening now also.
The
Okay.
new restaurant on Grove, I have heard nothing but very good things from several people who have gotten food there. So they seem to have very good food.
We're not trying.
Public safety.
I have a few things, Madam President. First, March 30th, in conjunction with the fire department and Baldwin Township Police Department, the Pennsylvania State Police outreach coming out to do safety education. That's a program called In the Know. It's for families to gain practical knowledge, tips, and resources to foster a safe and healthy environment in a digital age. So they're going to talk about navigating challenges posed by video games, social media, AI, current drug trends, and it's a 2-hour program that's very worthwhile for families. So
Where is it going to be held?
it's got 6:30 to 8:30 on the 30th of March. It's on our website. I think it's on their website, but it's on the fire website. Put that up for us as well. Correct. Thank you.
It was in council mail.
All right. Thank you. Second thing I have is we're in the process of accreditation recertification. Castle Shannon Police Department was accredited by the Pennsylvania Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission in April 2023. It's a 3-year process. We have to get re-accredited. So David Lane and Dan Janita have been working on that process. We're in the process of mock assessors where they're coming in to see if we're ready. And then on April 24th, they will do an on-site visit, and we're hoping to get re-accredited. So that'll happen on April 24th. And we're in the process also of testing for entry-level police officer. Sad to say we had 3 applicants. We gave a written exam on February 17th. Oral exams are scheduled for March 19th, and this is just the current environment that we're in. I actually have a testing consultant who's running the process, and he said all police departments are having the same thing. Upper St. Clair had 2 applicants for Upper St. Clair. When we tested out at the Allegheny County Police Training Academy, Wilkinsburg was out there. They had 1 applicant. It's tough to get applicants. So anyway, and so kind of led into civil service, but that's all I have. Thank you.
You didn't go, that wasn't going through SHACOG, the testing?
No, so SHACOG, no, the collaboration there, I think the last time we did a collaboration amongst all of those agencies, we had 17 applicants. Even that testing process does not gather the applicants that we used to. I mean, we used to get 135, 150 applicants. It's just in the current environment, that's not happening.
Madam President. Chief, can you email me the In the Know flyer? I'll make sure it gets on the fire department
Yes, sir.
Website.
Okay. Fire department's not here this month, and Public Works. Do we have any?
Madam President, I would just update council that we understand that the barges should start arriving fairly soon with additional salt. So I think the delivery issues have been somewhat resolved, and so I would hope that we'll be fully stocked here in the coming weeks.
Thank you. Library?
Did you skip a bunch?
Oh, did I skip? Oh, yeah.
Board report.
Allegheny County Bars Association, we had our annual meeting February 7th, and the next meeting is March 12th, which I will be attending. Civil service, nothing.
Again, I'm talking about testing. March 7th or March 19th is the oral board.
Okay, economic development. Let me see, I know that they're planning to do a Pour in the Park event as well as a fall festival. And we should be receiving some information on that. Our next meeting. Library?
Yes, information on the library. 2 activities were completed last week. The Writers Cafe on the 19th and the Sound Bath on the 20th. Not sure what that is, but it was sold out. They were both very successful and well attended. The next fundraiser is this Wednesday at Tequoia Restaurant over by Cold Springs. That'd be a 20% donation to the library if you mention Castle Shannon Library.
What restaurant was that?
Tequoia, the one up by Cold Springs,
Okay.
Mexican restaurant. Bingo is scheduled for the 27th at 1 p.m. at the library, and they're concluding their Mug of the Month raffle. Tickets are on sale through the 28th, and then drawing will be held on the 28th there. Couple items to keep in mind. The spring used book sale setup will be March 7th, and the sale will be the 12th, 13th, and 14th of March. And the Tiny Art Show will be April 21st, and you can procure your 3x3 canvases on March 5th from the library to do your art. All the other programs and activities are available at the library or on their website. The next meeting is March 5th at 7 p.m. at the library.
Thank you. Medical Rescue Team South?
Yeah, the next meeting is day after tomorrow, Wednesday, the 25th at 7 p.m. at the Arts Center.
Okay, Shaycog, we had a meeting was last Thursday at Baldwin, and they're changing their format a little bit of how we do meetings. Instead of going all over the county to different areas, they're going to do, 3 in Baldwin, 3 in, where's he from?
Is it township or borough?
These are boroughs, yeah. So it's the president's the president's borough, and I want to say West Mifflin, but it's not West Mifflin.
Jefferson Hills.
Is he Jefferson Hills?
Dan
Yeah,
Davis.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
There'll be
I
3 at
think he's
Jefferson
out there.
Hills and 3 at Baldwin and 3. So they'll be local, and they are. If I remember correctly, they're working on how they're going to approach the SALT issue, whether the liquidated damages. They're suggesting that we all, everybody file with Shaycog for liquidated damages for the SALT not coming. So we'll see where that goes. And I don't know what else. What else was there? I didn't bring my notes, but I.
Didn't either. I'm sorry.
So, but I think that's the main things. So, their next meeting is next month, and I know it's on my calendar, but I can't.
It's probably March 19th. Be my guess, because I think it's the third Thursday.
I think it would be March 19th.
I don't have it on my calendar yet.
Allegheny County Southwest Tax Collection Committee. Hope we have anything there. No.
Nothing. There's a meeting coming up in March, and I can report back after that.
Okay. Mayor's report.
I am pleased to say I have nothing to say.
Okay. Manager's report.
Nothing bad.
Solicitor's report. Real estate tax collector.
Yes, we have finally closed for 2025. Total amount collected was $4,898. Sorry, $4,898,439.45, which came to 96% collection.
Very good. Thank you.
The bills are out and payments have already come in.
Okay. This is the public comments section for non-agenda items. Nobody wants to address council tonight. Do we have any old business? Any old business? Any old business? Any new business? Then I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?